You know what? There was an article that just came out that said that actually the most educated demographic in this country right now is Black women. So let me be.
That's not what we arguing about, bitch.
Ooh, that's how we starting? Hey, shout out to all of our subscribers and members here on the channel. My name is Reese Waters, and I'm troubled. I first want to give a shout out to Jeff over at We Gon' Be Alright, who did the thing when it comes to addressing the Cartier family.
All right, kids, I've told you so many times that it will be easy for me, a black, smart aleck know-it-all, to make it in conservative media, but I've never shown you proof.
But when I listen to her talk, it just irks my soul. Like, it feel like I got a nagging wife in the house that just don't know how to act. It's insufferable.
But you do want to build some wall.
Yes,
I want to strengthen our border.
They need to have a show on Fox.
That was the Cartier family. We're going to talk about them today. Along with appearing on Fox News and making names for themselves on right-wing media, they've gotten to meet stars of the conservative circuit, politicians and pundits. And recently, they were invited to the Legacy of Freedom Ball presented by Black Conservative Federation, getting billing as a special or celebrity guest featured next to Antonio Brown with his CTE symptoms scheduled to appear.
He actually he reached out and reminded me that I have alluded to hitting on the family for quite some time, but the can has been kicked down the road. Quite frankly, there were a number of trolls that needed addressing first.
He was amplifying a conspiracy theory that I think you would agree puts a target on the backs of Haitian immigrants and that it is based on racism. Would you agree on that?
Anti-Black racism will be more pointed.
Do you think that if there were 20,000 Scandinavians that had been sent to Springfield, people would be saying that they're eating cats and dogs and geese?
I'm not going to answer for
Why
him,
not?
for his memes, or anything else.
And that's why I think this United story and the DEI story hits so hard, because we've all been in the back of a plane when the turbulence hits or when you're flying through a storm and you're like, I'm so glad I saw the guy with the right stuff and the square jaw get into the cockpit before we took off. And I feel better now thinking about that.
No, I mean, like, you want to go thought crime? Like, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
Well, that's the you wouldn't have done that. You wouldn't have done that before.
That's not an immediate.
No, you wouldn't have done that before.
That's not who I am. That's not what I believe.
It is the reality the left has created.
I truly believe that the people who engaged in the coup against Donald Trump and have caused, civil unrest and chaos in our country for the last 7 years through Crossfire Hurricane and also through these what I believe are illegal witch hunts against the president of the United States right now, unconstitutional witch hunts against Donald Trump. They are treasonous. They are traitors. They should get the death penalty when they are jailed in the next Trump administration.
Death penalty in the next Trump administration. In advance of the debate last weekend, Loomer also tweeted that, and I quote her here, if Kamala Harris wins, the White House will smell like curry.
But today, I got time. Because how could I not make time when they want to make excuses for Pastor Sewell?
And when we let freedom ring, we will be able to speed up that day where all of your children, black men and white men, Protestant and Catholic, Jew and Gentile, will be able to sing in the meaning of that old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last. Thank you, God Almighty. We are free at last. If you believe where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Come on, put your hands together and give your great God great glory.
Oh yeah, we was in. Tell me why we was in the line. She was listening to him, and she was like, "Is that Martin Luther King?"
That's so powerful.
It's so powerful.
President-elect Trump and former President Obama sharing a laugh.
The kind of people that could see Obama and Trump violating the on-site policy and actually having a pleasant exchange and frame it as Obama kissing Trump's ring.
Rumors is Obama and Michelle getting a divorce.
Really?
Chill out.
Hey, that's what rumors. Hey, my boy Obama said, he said, man, you know I really hate
Hold
that hoe,
on. Pause. Flag on the goddamn play.
You know I really hate that hoe, right?
Why Michelle?
Wow.
Why Michelle is not out there? Everybody got their wives, and we don't see Michelle out there. That is a problem.
That's Mike Pence too. I just peeped that.
Everybody out there with their wives, and we don't see Michelle. That's the flag on the play.
That's the rumor.
So you think Michelle finna break up with Obama?
Which, by the way, was something that even Trump didn't necessarily agree with.
It did look very friendly, I must say. I didn't realize it. I didn't realize it, how friendly it looked. I saw it on your wonderful network just a little while ago before I came in, and I said, boy, they look like two people that like each other.
You know it's bad when even the subject of your shuffle doesn't even approve of your steps. How about this one? 158 House Democrats voted against a bill in favor of deporting illegal migrants for specific offenses. What does the Democratic Party even stand for these days? Well, I mean, if you were actually paying attention to what's going on the floor.
As one of the few people sitting on the dais who actually practice criminal law in the state of Texas, as well as I'm licensed in Arkansas and practice there, as well as federal courts, one of the things that you said earlier, Mr. Beer, really stuck with me, is that there are already laws on the books as it relates to those violent criminals. And I know this because even though I hail from the great city of Dallas, I can tell you that when someone would come in and they were being held in custody for, say, a crime, they also had an ICE hold, okay? And that was for those that had maybe been deported before and had re-entered illegally and things like that. And so no matter what type of city you're in, I do want to be clear, federal law already, no matter if it's under the Biden administration or if it's under a Republican administration, we all agree that we want to be safe. And I think that's the first premise that we're losing, because there isn't something that is tatted on my head that says that I'm a Democrat and therefore you illegal bad person, don't come for me, go for the ones that have the R's on their forehead.
But I get it. It's easier just to stay in your right-wing echo chamber and get the most disingenuous, disproven accounts on social media to frame everything for you. And as long as you continue to do that, you're going to continue to look like this when you post, this is such a grift, but Democrats hoot and holler when Trump sells something. The hypocrisy is so blatant, leveled at Jasmine Crockett. I don't know which way you want to do this, because Marjorie Taylor Greene is one of the top 10, closing in on top 5 fundraisers on the right wing by virtue of raising money on just about everything. And Nancy Mace is clicking her heels like that shopping cart over at Marshall's. So are we doing this or are we not doing this? Because this is not a tenable stance you got. But I get it. It's something that you're supposed to be able to engage in. But when we do it, then it's hypocritical and it's a grift. So right wing just supposed to be able to do it for free. Is that what I got? Now I'll be honest. I got to have a little bit of compassion for you, because I have been in your shoes. Like here when you posted disgusting, you're an absolute clown by virtue of Jasmine Crockett referencing the trans rights movement in conjunction with black rights. I get it, because you didn't watch the video. You didn't watch the video. You didn't watch the video because if you would have watched the video, you would have seen that she was responding to somebody bringing trans rights into the discussion. She was actually responding to something that somebody else did. But you know, as somebody that has had to give reports in class and I didn't read the book, this is how it's gonna look. This is how it's gonna look.
Let me tell you something. Y'all need to find some people that actually care about their constituents. And honestly, whenever y'all are ready to work, we on this side of the aisle have always been ready to do what is right by the American people. Instead, what you can continue to do is go after the most vulnerable in our country. The fact that you just sat up there and somehow figured out how to tie trans folk to your argument makes no sense to me. But let me tell you something. Trans people ain't going nowhere. Just like when the racists wanted to make sure that black people somehow were going to be dismissed in this country, we ain't left either.
And it went just as poorly. Here you go. Joe probably thinks that's Obama. All right, I'll give you all a pass on that one. He might have. That's true.
King Kong ain't got shit on me.
George W. Bush ain't got nothing on me. See, to protect the donkeys, you got to protect the donkeys from the elephants, okay? But it takes an elephant to catch an elephant. But ultimately, this is why we are here. Jasmine Crockett is a professional victim. Look at how she loses it when she's met with facts on how LAFD has completely failed due to their DEI policies. Oh, you knew they were going to blame DEI, and you knew they were going to find some brown faces to put lipstick on that pig. Whoa. Did you just frame this as ghetto Democrat? Ghetto Democrat erupts after Republicans' truth bomb. You just went and called her ghetto? Candace Owens is going to be furious. That is her corner. You know, I said a long time ago that they don't even let Black Maga speak on other black people unless they call them ghetto. And y'all I hate being right. I really do.
You know what? There was an article that just came out that said that actually the most educated demographic in this country right now is black women. So let me be.
That's not what we arguing about, bitch.
Ooh, that's how we starting. That's how we starting. Hey, a quick question, just a little bit of research. Can you find me, because I don't watch a lot of their content, but can you find me where they have called a white congresswoman a bitch? Can we? I just want to see something. Yeah, I just want to see something.
You might have recall a news story from last year. There was some interest in the fire departments and the firefighters in California, and the interest was that there were too many white men who were firefighters, and we need to have a program in California to make sure we don't have enough white men as firefighters.
Wait a minute. I know this video. I responded to this video myself. Did you see Jasmine Crockett? Did you see her reaction? Did you see her? It's pretty much a bit at this point. It is pretty much a bit at this point. You saw fit at this time to mention DEI. Who would think of something that crazy at a time like this?
California has been the petri dish. It has been the Wuhan Institute of Virology for the woke mind virus. California is where all of the diversity, equity, inclusion, critical race theory, LGBTQIA plus ideology has been festering.
I would love to know how the Cartier family responded to this exact same thing.
Why y'all talking crazy? Bro, Brandon, you said yesterday. It was a guy that applied for the to be a fireman in LA. And they told him, we don't need you right now. It took 7 years for him to get a letter for them to say, hey, buddy, it's your time. A black lady was behind him in line when they were going, I guess, to take the test or something like that. And he said, how long did it take you? He said, it took me a couple days.
Oh, wow.
So, like, what are y'all even arguing about? This actually happened. Do you guys not look at anything?
I think what we're arguing about is the relevance to this situation, because for that to be relevant would be to assert that this catastrophe occurred and spiraled out of control because they did not have enough firefighters. Is that the case that's being made? That there were not enough firefighters? Is that you're supposed to have enough firefighters on hand to handle the worst catastrophe, one of the worst natural disasters that we have ever seen at all times? Is that what your point? is?
Oh my God, bro.
They say that's right
I'm gonna
wing.
end up saying something so crazy on this channel, and I'm not gonna be able to take it back, bro. For real, for real.
They say you watching right wing propaganda.
For real, for real.
Oh, we have crossed that bridge. We have definitely crossed that bridge, and no, you cannot take it back. But you know what? Like Vince Carter said, I think you got one more in you.
We have DEI, we have budget cuts, and yet I'm wondering now, if your house was burning down, how much do you care what color the firefighters are?
can respond.
Well, apparently we do, because if they are black folks, then they get blamed for the fire because it becomes DEI, which is literally what you're discussing. If they're white, then you just go into general malpractice, right? You just go into some general mismanagement thing, because obviously there has to be a blame. But white people get the freedom to make mistakes. But if it's a black person, then it is an indictment of your very existence and the fact that you were at all there in the first place, or anybody who looks like you. And yes, that is exactly the case that y'all are making. We're definitely not a monolith. That is clearly true.
You know what? There was an article that just came out that said that actually the most educated demographic in this country right now is black women. So let me be.
That's not what we arguing about, bitch.
Okay, so if I got this straight, you can bring up that there was a DEI program in a department that is handling this natural disaster, irregardless of its conjunction to the disaster itself. Just by virtue of there being a program, that becomes something that's relevant. But the qualifications of black women and their underemployment is not relevant. And people watch this? Never mind. I know exactly who would.
I almost said something so crazy.
Hey.
I was about to say something. I'm about to get canceled on this bitch.
The comment I was gonna say was the comment I can't say.
I was about to say something.
Hey, I ain't
crazy.
gonna see it though, man. I ain't gonna see it.
Why do they always act like DEI is some sort of attack on black people? That is absolutely fucking
It's an
stupid.
attack on women, an attack on a lot of people.
DEI? Well, black people, what did I just...
I'ma keep it
what is
in
that?
it.
What does DEI have to do with black people? And this is the... If you don't want people to say that people of color, I hate that term, people who are not white, minorities in high positions are not DEI, then you have to do away with DEI, because as long as DEI exists, that will have that argument in place.
Actually, that is untrue. If you want people to not call you DEI, you just have to wear a MAGA hat. Yeah, you just have to wear a MAGA hat, because none of y'all was calling Herschel DEI, now were you? I haven't seen that levy that Byron Donalds. Somehow, Mark Robinson was able to make it to Lieutenant Governor of North Carolina. Yes, Mini Soldier was able to make it to Lieutenant Governor of North Carolina without a single member of right-wing media calling him a DEI. But somehow, literally everything brown on the left wing of any prominence becomes a DEI. Even folks that are elected. See, this is where you messed up. Because you empowered the worst among you to just fly free with the DEI. When you're calling the vice president a DEI, what you have done is clearly established that every person that you see as a potential threat to white supremacy who happens to be black is a DEI. So therefore, you can't make the argument that you have to get rid of DEI because it's no longer connected to any actual program. It's just your new N-word.
If you're so educated and qualified, then you shouldn't need things like DEI to get positions. I mean, that just defeats your argument. Well, if DEI is hurting, then why is this demographic so educated? Well, if that demographic is so educated, you don't need DEI to succeed.
they get rid
you don't
of
need
it.
affirmative action to succeed. I mean, you have to see the irony in your argument. Like, it's ridiculous.
So they don't care about black people.
That's true. That is true. That is true. If you are you are so excellent and educated enough, you don't need DEI and affirmative action to succeed. And if you look at the boards of these Fortune 500 companies, I mean, hell, if you look at our cabinet, that will tell you everything that you need to know. But I will give them credit for this, because the best way to preserve those cabinets and boards looking the way they look is to throw a couple biscuits at us to put lipstick on that pig. And I see crumbs all over that floor.
What he said was they put an initiative to make the LA Fire Department less white, so white men would be discriminated against in order to fill a quota of non-white men in place. Well, now we're seeing the LA Fire Department fall flat on its face due to the lack of the proper resources. And I feel like if you had the manpower, by not excluding white men, who are probably trying a lot harder than these other demographics to become firemen.
To be real,
you'd probably be doing. Your response to these fires would probably be doing a lot better.
People are idiots, bro.
So I mean, I'm lost. I'm lost.
All our life.
Let's be logical.
What demographic has been firefighters? White men.
I've seen it. My big Xavier that came spitting out over here. He's a firefighter.
I've seen the mix. I've seen a mix. I've seen a mix.
You think he's a DI?
No, there's some.
Okay, it's very rare that you get to see actual self-hate just crystallize in the way it did for this entire exchange. Let's move backwards. Our entire life, the firefighters that we have mostly seen have been white men. Why is that? Why is that? Your idea of a firefighter is a white man. Why is that? You could make the case that there are more white people, so they have been filling those positions. That is true. Why else might that be the case? You know, because it's weird. Because like back in the 20s and 30s and 40s, they would go into these black communities and beg them to join the fire department, and they just wouldn't do it. I don't know why they wouldn't do that. You know, I don't know whether the melanin is flammable. I don't know why they just wouldn't join the fire department. So if the idea is that that firefighters has been a bastion of whiteness up to this point, you think that might discourage people from wanting to integrate? Nah, it wouldn't, because that's one thing we know that they love is when black people come in and integrate. They always I mean that is one way to get the best of society. If you want to see the best of society, try and integrate something, and you really they find their joy and their kindness in those moments. Now, if you three black men, I assume you identify as black, if three black men can say that their whole life, most of the firefighters they've seen have been white men, if that's how you think, how do you think the people that are in the business of bringing in firefighters think? Because you just said if you were so excellent, then it wouldn't. That's why you don't need DI. If you were so excellent, it's just a pure meritocracy. But now you're telling me about the way that firefighters look. The way they're supposed to look. That's literally exactly where you went after that. Then we get the argument that white men are working harder to become firefighters than anybody else, which again is based on your perception of who firefighters are supposed to be. It's also based on your perception of white work ethic versus, I don't know, your own. So I feel like I need therapy just from witnessing this level of self-hate. Now let's also go here, because you said that your most of your life, most of the firefighters have been white. What is a position you can think of where most of your life, most of the people that have occupied that position have been white? Are there any other positions in society where when you think of it, you just think of a person in that position, you think of a white person? Any other ones come to mind? Like all of them, right? Yeah. So then you see how that might be a problem when that's the way you think and you're in the business of hiring people for that position. And that's the way you think. Imagine how they think. Y'all didn't plug none of the holes in this argument. This was bad. Yeah, y'all, I feel like I would go back in and see if they've made better cases, but I want to spend literally no more time here. And let's also let it not go unmentioned. The fact that we're even having this discussion, because if the LA Fire Department was all white, would we be making the case that maybe some diversity might have been helpful? White people get to fail and have it not be a black mark against their race or culture. But when it happens to black people, it's an indictment of DEI and their very existence in the organization. But y'all want a meritocracy. Y'all want a meritocracy. That sound like meritocracy to you? Huh? Does that sound like a meritocracy to you?
They're tripping because men are more geared for these type of jobs. It's just a fact. I mean, this is why we see more men in laborious positions, in higher risk positions than women. I mean, that's why we see more men in construction sites. That's why we see more men police officers. That's why we see more men firefighters. I mean, it's just a fact, guys. I mean, I don't understand why we have to play this game and DEI to try to change the image and shit. I don't give a damn about the image. I give a damn, are they ready to respond with some ish popping off?
That's a life at risk. Like
let's
that's
keep it
almost,
100.
I'm not gonna say it's war, but it's war. Like it's time to save a life. And most men are in the military because men can fight.
Now, we'll give them this. If you want to make the case, whether it is the fire department or it is the military, as Pete Hegseth has just confirmed, and we know how much he loves women. If you want to make the case that due to physiological differences between men and women, that some people are unable to fulfill the duties that are asked of them, then simply make that physical requirement part of the process of getting that job. You don't have to be sexist. Just have a physical requirement. If they can do it, then they're good. But you know what? It's way more fun to be sexist. You know what I mean? It's way more fun to be sexist. And if the women happen to be gay, ooh boy.
You need to respond.
I just think her response to immediately go to pointing out how black women are the highest earning demographic is completely irrelevant.
That was the
You're also
dumbest
the
shit I've
lowest,
ever
the
heard.
least married and the lowest earning, but no one ever brings those stats up.
Also
But you want to
abortions,
highlight
all types of
the
shit.
paper, the education and degrees. Like, come on, guys, let's really focus on the substance of an argument and stop pulling up grasping for straws here.
Come again?
I think her response to immediately go to pointing out how black women are the highest earning demographic is completely irrelevant.
That was the
You're also
dumbest
the
shit I've
lowest,
ever
the least
heard.
married and the lowest earning, but no one ever brings those stats up.
Let's bring those stats up since you just brought it up. So you don't know why she would highlight that black women are the most educated demographic. You're also the least married and the lowest earning. That literally is the point. That literally is the point. Do you even, y'all, who edited this? I don't know why my supervisor want to bring up how much money I'm making. You know, I'm also the last one to work and I take the longest breaks, but nobody ever brings that up.
So let me be clear. Because you are a woman, or because I know that some of the right has been sharing these photos of the fact that I believe that the fire chief may be a woman or something, that has nothing to do with it. We are looking at qualifications. What diversity, equity, and inclusion has always been about is saying, you know what? Open this up. Don't just look at the white men. Open it up and recognize that other people can be qualified. And the fact that we want to, at a time when people are dying, decide that a country of immigrants is failing or people are dying because the same very people that built this country, because the last time I checked, y'all didn't say that anything was wrong with the White House, and I can promise you it was my ancestors that built the White House. So listen, if we have been good enough to build...
That's not even part
I ain't gonna lie, man.
That is nothing dealing with the situation.
Jasmine, you just proved that you might actually be the dumbest in Congress. And you actually might just prove that black women might not be the smartest.
Because they really
demographic.
Yeah, I've seen enough. I've seen enough. Yeah, I got to tap out just for my own sanity. Oh, look, is that a comment? Very well informed and intelligent young men. I love how they go into things with logic and life experience. Jasmine Crockett, you should really listen to what they have to say. Now let's go take a look at Huddy Mack here. Yep, Huddy Mack agrees with the Cartier family's view of things. I imagine that she would. I imagine that she would. And just to play a little game, because I was just curious, I wonder, what do you think Huddy Mack's last tweet was? What was Huddy Mack's last tweet? Was it a recipe? Was it a score, a sports score, or a retweet of Elon Musk? What do you think? What do you think her last tweet was? A retweet of Elon Musk? Yeah, the guy that Steve Bannon said should go back to Africa, as white South Africans are the most racist people on the planet. So yeah, they really like what you're putting down, Cartier family. They really like what you're putting down. You do. Hey, seal clap. Same one we gave Pastor Sewell. Yeah, same one they gave Pastor Sewell.
Speed up that day for all of your children.
Should I try and double my money? I bet she got a deportation tweet down there too. I bet she got a deportation tweet. What? Home Alone? Cartier, you got a real one here. Yeah, these fans are solid. Y'all better stay on note though. Hey, I want to thank you guys so much for watching the video. First of all, thanks to an overwhelming response when I asked whether or not you guys would want to potentially move my weekly Tuesday 2 p.m. live tonight. You guys said you did. We tried it last week and it was amazing. So we're going to keep that going for the next week or two. So look for those Tuesday lives to be at night, probably 8 o'clock. There'll also be some members only lives as well. I tried that and lo and behold, I can just go live anytime. That is spectacular. So look for some members only lives as well, some polls on that side of things as well. I also have a brand new email for you that is admin@reesewaters.com. Just in case you want a quick response, you can email admin@reesewaters.com, and I can pretty much guarantee it will be quicker. It will be quicker than the other one. We also have a bunch of merch ideas that you guys have sent in. Some of them are phenomenal. So we went and got some people to help us with the merch. So I'm really excited about some of the stuff that we have on the horizon. You can check all of that out at reesewaters.com. Also, shout out to the new subscribers and members here on the channel, as well as those that have been helping me out. That is Regina, who's been helping me out immensely with research, and our moderators, Mariana and Dank, as well as our head moderator, Miss Ray. I'm extremely grateful for you guys. A whole lot more to come.